Alright, so today I want to introduce to you the topic of the sociological imagination, and in order to help us understand that, I want to focus on gender as our example so that we can get the point across. So the sociological imagination was coined by C. Wright Mills in his book The Promise, and for your notes we have our actual definition, but for today's lecture, since we only have a little bit of time, I want you to really think about the sociological imagination as a tool to see how society's institutions affect our personal lives. And since we're focusing on gender, gender is going to be the institution for which I'll show you examples of how this does affect our lives. So here we have the wheel of institutions, and you can see that gender is just one of the many. But for now, just understand that an institution is a collection of values that meet some societal need. But we really just want to look at how it affects our lives. That's the key point here. But before we start talking about gender, it's imperative that we understand there's a difference between sex and gender. So in this image, we see that sex is what you're born with and gender is what you're given. And kind of the theme that we'll see throughout is that we have action man and passivity girl, which might be things you've already seen throughout the media. So sex is very much biological, again, what you're given, and gender is social. So for gendered occupations, I first wanted to start with having you guys think, again, using the sociological imagination. So for me, when I was growing up, I thought that only nurses could be women and that doctors had to be male. And for example, think of your kindergarten teachers, or maybe if you're in the nursing program here, are there more males or females? Who's your engineering professors on campus? So if you do a Google image search, or if you look on Pinterest, this is a typical image that you will see. It's a girl, and she's kind of caretaking. So we look at nurses or teaching as having feminine qualities and as mothering. But if you do a search for a surgeon, you'll see more men come up on the internet. And this is another example. This is Battleship, a board game, and in the very back, they zoomed in, and you can see that the woman and possibly her daughter are doing the dishes while the men are having fun. Maybe you see this at your own family's Thanksgiving dinner, at Christmas dinner. I know in my household, the men go on the couch, sit down and have a beer while the women do the dishes, and that's just typical. My grandparents are old-fashioned. And this is a psychology experiment where they see this play out. They had a group of participants watch what they perceived to be a male boy, a baby, or a female. And for the boy and the girl, they had a toy pop up. So when the toy popped up to the boy, the participants said that he was angry, so he started to cry. When the toy popped up for the girl, they said that she was scared, and that's why she was crying. So we see very much, even with babies, a big strong boy, but there's this cute little girl, and she's crying really because she's scared. So the institution of gender here is affecting us from day one, since we're babies. And then this point I'd like to make is how it can even affect us before we're even born. So a big topic right now on the internet are gender reveal parties, which in actuality it should be a sex reveal party. You want to know if your baby is going to be a boy or a girl. But with a gender reveal party, they want to know if their baby is going to like guns in the color blue or glitter in the color pink. So this is a gender reveal invitation saying that, you know, for having a boy, he's going to like guns, the girls, they'll like pink and glitter. So the institution of gender is affecting our lives before we're born. If your nursery is painted pink, blue, what color clothes you get, if you go home with a football, so all of those, for example. And then I wanted to look at something a little bit more easier to see, something that we see in the media and in our magazines. So maybe if you watched Disney films when you were younger. So here's a Disney princess, and she says, you know, it's larger than my waist, my neck, my head, and my hands. So if you want to take your hand to your stomach, it's probably a lot smaller than your waist. But girls growing up, or even boys getting these images of females, you know, very small. And here with Jennifer Lawrence, this is the before and this is the after. And she's perfectly fine. They actually photoshopped the muscle out of her arm. And they made her waist smaller, just like with the princess. So as girls see this, I've noticed that on Pinterest and on YouTube, there's lots of videos showing you how to contour your face. So this is just an average girl, and she puts on all this makeup and shows you how to change the look of your face. So it makes your face look thinner. And this takes a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of practice. And it's because of all the influence that we see of gender throughout the media. Another key component, so we don't just look at one side too much, is it does target both genders negatively. So With this male, they made him more black, and they thinned his waist. And with this actor, they took the age out of his face. So it is negative for men. They may be more inclined to, eat protein and go weightlifting and, do those sorts of things. So Stephen Colbert here has a sarcastic message, so we can relate this to girls or boys. He says, your magazine actually has positive images for girls and positive messages for girls. But if girls feel good about themselves, how are we going to sell them things? So think back to, eating right, a gym membership, lots of makeup to contour your face, anti-aging cream, the list goes on. And these ones I had to share. So these are 3 Victoria's Secret models who our society kind of views as like the most beautiful women in the world. And there they are without their hair and makeup done and before Photoshop and their after picture. So significantly different, right? And here's Madonna. I don't know if any of you, your mothers, look through the magazines and they're thinking, I'm about the same age as her, I'm aging and she's not aging. Well, Madonna is aging. They take it out of the face. And here we have the normal body. We all have flaws and imperfections. But again, with Photoshop, they make women and men look completely different. And then to switch back over to gender and how it affects our occupations. I didn't make this list, you can find this online, and it's gifts that you should buy based on if a child's 6 to 7 or a boy or a girl. And how ironic is it that they have a gun here and that they have glitter here. So we just keep on saying that we know what they like based upon their sex and their ascribed gender. So again, think of the larger institution. And here we have a pink dustpan and a sweeper, like a broom. Well, why wouldn't a girl love to play with that? I have no idea. And then we have boys' toys. So he gets a toy and says, what does it do? And they tell him it can be arranged in literally infinite ways and then hooked up to a computer and be remote controlled. The girl's toy, she gets a doll and she says, what does it do? They say it's a doll. That's about it. Sometimes they can pee themselves. Subsequently, they ask, why are there so few girl engineers? So think back to the beginning. She's getting a doll, and we have mostly female nurses, and we think, when I grow up, maybe I'll be a nurse. But then the boys are building things, and most of our professors on campus are male engineers. So how that sort of plays out there. And this is my favorite, how to tell if a toy is for boys or for girls. Do you operate the toy with the genitalia? If yes, this toy is not for children. If not, then it's for boys or for girls. So it really shouldn't matter. We shouldn't just be giving girls pink dustpans to sweep with. So as a short summary, this institution of gender can be negative to both sexes. So I have here women own only 1% of the world's land and women make up 70% of the world's poor. There's also negative things that go along with men. So for example, any 18 to 25-year-old males in the classroom, you're required to register for the draft. Whereas women, we don't have that recommendation or that requirement. And then we also looked at some gendered toys, gendered careers, and we see how gender affects our daily lives from this larger institution by using the sociological imagination as a lens. But then we also see that it can affect our lives before we're even born. And we'll watch this video just for a minute.
It was the jewel of our empire.
30-second advertisement. Let's find gendered stereotypes in the advertisement.
They lived in the shadow of a greater power.
Whatever is happening here, I have to stop it now.
We have to get to the harbor. Bombay in 3D and really 3D.
Men at war, I guess. No females going to battle.
Hello?
Oh wow, that's
I can't get pregnant and I already got a fertility.
This is what I wanted to do. Watch the next one.
Yeah.
Now there's a place
Come on in.
where her dreams have room to grow.
It's time to sleep
The
now.
Rose Petal Cottage.
Got my muffin. It's really
A
yummy.
place of her very own where she can decorate,
Just can't go here. Just go here.
entertain her imagination,
Let's do laundry.
and a special friend or two.
Ta-da.
So we're just gonna stop it there because once I say imagination and she's putting a load into the washer, it's like, does it really take imagination to do our laundry? So that's unfortunate. So finally, I just wanted to go over an activity for you guys for next week. I would like you to think of any movies that you've watched, books that you've read, maybe even conversations you've had, and find ways that gender is affecting our lives, or go on to the internet and find maybe some images or Google images, put in different key terms, and kind of how I did, find some examples of your own. Thanks.
Great job.